and Mrs. Best have not heard from their son Billy for more than a week, and they are terrified. You see, Billy has cancer, and without treatment, he could die. Bill McGowan has their exclusive message to their son. Billy, come home.
When 16-year-old Billy Best was on a roll, there was no curb too high, no hill too steep for his sure-footed four-wheel hijinks.
'Cause all I wanna do is have some fun. I got a feeling I'm not the only one.
But not even Billy's closest friends knew the emotional roller coaster that last week led this suburban Boston teen to pack his skateboard, sell his guitar amp, and literally hit the road.
He ran away because he was diagnosed earlier this summer with Hodgkin's disease. It's a cancer. And he was going through chemotherapy treatments. And he's had 5 so far, and each one gets progressively worse.
For 2 months, Billy suffered silently through the painful chemotherapy treatments that could save his life.
He feel very nauseous, and that was getting worse and worse. His appetite changed, and he had a metal taste in his mouth that is very typical of chemo.
At his last appointment, the doctors told Billy the cancer was almost gone, but that he'd need 4 more months of radiation to be certain he was cured. It was more than Billy could bear. That same day, he began making lists of things to do before he said goodbye.
In the last month, his attitude was excellent. He was upbeat, happy. Now we know why. Because he made up his mind he was going to leave.
9 days ago, Billy's parents came home to find an empty house and a handwritten note from their son.
Dear Mom and Dad, by the time you read this note, I hope to be gone. Please forgive me. I love you both very much. The reason I left is because I could not stand going to the hospital every week. I feel like the medicine is killing me instead of helping me. I have faith in God and know that He will heal me. I can't write any more, but I love both of you and all of the family too. I'm so sorry. Love always, Bill.
Last Wednesday night, Billy hopped a Greyhound bus headed to New York City. He had $150 in his pocket and a one-way ticket to Louisiana. His parents think he'll eventually head for San Diego, and they've become experts at charting bus routes and times. But nothing calms their fears.
Does he have food? Does he have money? Hopefully he gets safe.
Bill, I just want to plead with you and beg you to please come home. Call us. Call one of your relatives, one of your friends. Just let us know where you are, that you're all right. We love you more than our lives, and we're just falling apart here without you. We just want you to come home, so please.
Give us a call. Give someone a call. Let us know, please. Just come home.
If you think you've seen Billy, please call 1-800-843-5678. And Billy, if you're watching, please call home. The exclusive story behind the teenager who's touched America. Billy Best is the boy who ran away from home because he couldn't bear his cancer treatments. But he heard his parents' plea on a current affair, and he came home. David Lee Miller has an emotional reunion.
I want to give you a hug. I welcome home.
I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you.
For the past 3 weeks, Bill and Susan Best didn't know if they would ever hug their son Billy again.
It made me feel fortunate that I had parents who loved me so much, and that they weren't ashamed of me for leaving, and they wanted me back.
Even now, it's hard for his parents to believe that Billy's home, or that he ever left. But the front page headlines and letters pouring in from around the country are a constant reminder that on this Thanksgiving, the Best family has more than its share of blessings to count.
There's a lot of caring people out there now that are pulling for you. And a lot of them pulling for whatever decision you make.
I'm very thankful for the people that took Bill in and didn't worry about consequences, didn't worry about leaving Bill alone in their home. Most of all, I'm grateful to God because He guided my son through an incredible journey.
Just last month, Billy Best's idea of a journey was doing wheelies and bouncing down steps on his skateboard in the Boston suburb of Norwell.
Why didn't you tell me you had Hodgkin's disease?
I didn't tell many people.
He seemed like any normal 16-year-old, with one exception. Billy has Hodgkin's disease, a potentially fatal cancer that can be cured with chemotherapy. The only problem was that Billy wanted God to cure him.
God will take me whenever he wants. I believe if he wants to, he'll heal me. If it's his will.
Billy says he doesn't want to die, but every time he came to Boston's Dana-Farber Cancer Institute for treatments, he felt like the cure that could save his life was killing his soul.
After each treatment, I came closer and closer to the final decision to just leave.
The chemotherapy treatment had become unbearable.
I didn't feel like I could live with that feeling of strange things in my body.
On October 26th, Billy decided he couldn't take it anymore. He packed up his skateboard, hopped a bus bound for New York, and disappeared.
When I first got on the bus and it left, I just had these pictures of my parents like right behind me, ready for the bus to stop. I had pictures of like roadblocks or something, but after a while I calmed down and realized that no one knew where I was, so I felt free.
But Billy's parents knew their son was far from safe. 2 weeks ago, a current affair broadcast their message to Billy.
We love you more than our lives, and we're just falling apart here without you. We just want you to come home, please.
Give us a call. Give someone a call. Let us know, please. Just come on.
By then, Billy had traveled thousands of miles. It was in Houston that Billy learned of his parents' plea.
Someone told me that on a current affair, my parents didn't ask for me, they didn't tell me to come home or tell me to do anything, but just call them and let them know I was alright. So I figured that was the least I could do for them.
It was that first phone call that opened the door for Billy's return. This past Saturday, he finally came home.
Come on and come to me, love, don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through.
I felt bad for them because first time I called to them, they were blaming themselves for me running away, but there's nothing they could have done. When they decided that they were going to do what they thought was best for me, they didn't realize how bad that hurt me. But now they do, and I don't think they're going to force me to do anything I don't want to.
Bill and I kind of anguished over that decision, but we felt as though Bill has to have a right to the decision of his own treatment. We did not realize what he was going through with chemotherapy or how he felt about it.
I'm sorry that I had to hurt you. I wish that there was some way that I could have done it without having an effect, without causing any pain.
We understand.
I guess you can't leave a family and not hurt them in some way.
It's true.
I'm not afraid to die. I'd love to live, but I don't know what's going to happen.
An important note on this story, Billy says he doesn't want other kids with cancer to see him as some sort of a role model. Just because he stopped his treatment doesn't mean anyone else should. He's a young cancer patient who ran away to escape his painful treatments. We took you inside the reunion with his parents, But now David Lee Miller shows you where he went when he ran away, his courage, and how he deeply touched the lives of those he met along the way.
I first made up my mind to leave when I found out that I had cancer and that I was going to have to go through the treatment that I didn't want.
When 16-year-old Billy Best ran away from his suburban Boston home to escape his cancer treatment, all of America wanted to help. But for two teenagers who came to his aid, it was Billy Best who ended up helping them.
I didn't go out on this mission to find people in need, but through different circumstances, people I met really needed some love. I just wanted to give it to them.
Some people are special, and Billy was one of them.
Heather Sims and Dee Dee Hager first met Billy when he came to Houston, the final stop in his cross-country odyssey.
Give someone a call. Let us know, please, Bill. Please come home.
When Dee Dee and Heather saw Billy's parents on a current affair, they set out to find him. They'd heard about a new kid in town who loved to skateboard. And when they found him living in this abandoned warehouse, Dee Dee invited Billy to stay at her home.
She understood what I was going through because she was sick.
Incredibly, doctors told Dee Dee she might have the same type of cancer as Billy.
She went in to have a biopsy on a lymph node in her neck, and when the results came back, it was negative to Hodgkin's disease.
He just told me, like assured me that I wouldn't have it, that I'd be okay.
I remember when I woke up in the hospital, he was there.
Heather has diabetes and was in the hospital when I was there for viral meningitis. She needed a lot of love, and I was just trying to do all I could to make her happy.
After helping his new friends through their illnesses, Billy was finally ready to confront his own. He returned home to his parents' waiting arms.
I'm thankful for all the people that helped him. They just took him in, just a stranger. Sue and I kept asking each other, looking at each other and saying, would we do that?
If Billy is watching this interview right now, what would you tell him? What would you want him to know?
I just want him to take care of himself. I don't want to see him get sick.
Are you worried now that he may not seek the proper medical treatment?
I don't think he will. And if he does come to his senses about it, it might be too late for him.
Instead of saying goodbye, I know I'll be back there again.
Now, sin and suicide.